general topics to talk about.
Cool, because I'm recording, and I'll, I'll
Wow.
I'll edit it. Don't worry,
Thanks for the heads
I'm
up.
gonna edit it. But
You're
I
an
just I
asshole.
just clicked record.
You're an asshole.
Hello, everyone. This is Pitus Liker.
And Burning Monster 44.
Yep, and we're here just trying to launch a new video series that we somewhat came up with together. Yeah,
It,
let's
it
go
was
with
more or
that.
less like a spitballed idea. We were just kind of having a casual talk, and he was like, hey, let's try that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it'll work. I mean, we both got into like a very long discussion about YouTube and YouTube success and tips and tricks and everything like that. So
And how not to pull your hair out when you're dealing with it.
yeah, it sounded like a good video series. So we're gonna try it.
Here's hoping that it doesn't suck.
Yep. uh, if you guys have any suggestions for future videos, on future topics in this series, please feel free to leave them in the comments below.
Indeed, we do have a couple of ideas for ourselves, but if you want one in specific to take priority, then let us know below and we'll go ahead and work on that.
Yeah, uh, yeah, stuff in demand and potentially ideas that we didn't think of.
So to get us started, Pilots Like Her decided to pick one topic of his own, and that's what we're working off of now.
Yep, we are talking about thumbnails, and we're gonna give tips on custom thumbnails, regular thumbnails, just any type of thumbnails. Thumbnails, the stuff. Yeah, the stuff that you get views from. It's very helpful because they can't see a preview of the video or anything. They just get the thumbnail.
But Pilots Like Her, what's a thumbnail?
I literally just said that. Go to detention.
I don't want to go to attention.
Go to the principal's office.
Fine.
I'm calling your mother.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I think we should go ahead and get this started.
Yep, we're gonna talk about like a lot of mistakes that people make in their thumbnails and stuff, and how if you listen to us, there is a chance that your thumbnails might be more effective in the future.
But for the sake of not calling anybody out, we'll try to not say specific individuals
Yeah,
in there. That way we're not saying this person's doing it wrong, this person's doing it wrong, or nothing like that. Because
mostly because I can't think of any off of the top of my head.
I can think of a couple, but I'm not going to be that guy.
You should be that guy.
No, I'm going to look like an asshole. Besides, he'll probably comment on the video and going, "That motherfucker."
Yep, probably. Okay. So first off, one of the very most important things about thumbnails that I didn't even think about too much until recently is the size of what's in the thumbnail.
Yeah, so sometimes there's occasional videos where people will make a thumbnail and it doesn't even cover the entire image.
Mm.
Like, you'll just get like a rectangular shaped thing. Kind of like when you film with your cell phone and instead of holding it sideways, you hold it up and down.
Oh yeah, I hate those.
Yeah,
Those are
so,
only
like-
good for vines.
And even those are just eh. But, like, if you have that as a thumbnail, that's. Not only is it like less appealing, but it's also kind of hard to see, especially on smaller devices.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can, try to make sure that it fits the full image.
Yeah, I actually had to make my image extra tall for some reason because when I used the standard size in like Photoshop or whatever, then it would come out cut off a little bit at the top, and
Oh,
that
yeah?
was pretty annoying. Yeah,
Sheesh.
yeah. So I had to make it extra big so that way there would be no cut off.
Yeah, even if you use like a smaller image, whatever, and you have to make it bigger and just to make it fit, yeah, it might look a little bit more pixelated. But as long as you're at least covering the entire thing, so that way people can clearly see what it's supposed to be, that's better than leaving it half filled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A good way of making sure that everything is in order is if you upload the video as an unlisted first and just test out the thumbnail beforehand so that way you can go back and fix it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Or if the thumbnail that you're using is actually customized and not one that's predetermined by the YouTube system, then what you could do is actually upload a small file and add the thumbnail to that one. So that way you're not waiting as long for the upload to find out. So instead of uploading that 1.5 gigabyte video that you want to upload and put the thumbnail there, upload something that's like 100 megabytes or something, and try putting the thumbnail on that and see how that looks.
That's true. There is a video limit size. I mean, not video limit, image size limit for like megabytes and whatever.
Well, yes, that's the case. But also, what I'm saying is that if you upload a 100 megabyte video instead of the 1.5 gigs, you don't have to wait as long to find out if your thumbnail will work.
That's true. That's probably something that I fault with as well, because I always make my images so huge. Yeah, when I'm making them. But also within the image, sometimes people will show off these small little details that you really can't see in the thumbnail, because the thumbnails are usually really small unless it's like, showing the preview of a video. And by the time, if you're seeing that, then chances are you're going to watch the video anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely if you have something that you want to focus on in the video and you want it to be shown, make it huge, make it take up a lot of space in the thumbnail. If you're making a custom thumbnail, you got to make sure that, like if you're showing off your face, you want to make sure that your face is huge. If you want to show off
for the camera.
Yeah, if you want to show off, say, Pinkie Pie or another character for whatever, make sure that their face is taking up a lot of the image size.
And with that actually brings us to the second point of this conversation, is the accuracy of the thumbnails. With this, you're going to want to make sure that the thumbnail that you're using in the video is very relevant to whatever is going to go on in the video itself. So, if you're doing a video on MLP, don't have just like a regular thumbnail that has nothing to do with MLP on it whatsoever, because one, people aren't going to want to click it, and two, it makes no sense. Why would you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they probably won't understand it. I mean, going off by just the title alone can be tricky, and using custom thumbnails can sometimes take away the preview idea, which is the idea in the first place of previewing the video.
Yes, exactly. Like, as I said, I will not name any names in specific.
I'm guilty of this, actually.
Well, okay, well, I'm not going to use you as an example.
Dang.
I'm pretending to use someone else's example, but for the sake of things, I will not reveal their identity. For example, some people, when they upload series for videos, they use the same thumbnail for the videos, but the only thing that's different is the number that's on the thumbnail. Mm-hmm. And if you're just seeing that same picture for each thing, you don't know what's going to happen in that particular episode, especially if the video is, let's say it's a reaction video. If it's on a reaction video to something you've never seen before, that thumbnail isn't going to help you. And just seeing that text, that's not going to be of much help to you either as to what's going to happen in the video.
Yeah, the only case in which it would help you is if you've seen one of the previous videos before. So it's pretty hindering to newcomers of your channel.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And just custom thumbnails are a neat option. It's actually pretty cool to be able to do that, but if you're going to do it on a series, maybe try and make the custom thumbnail part of the thing, but make a bigger portion of it a snippet of what's happening in the actual episode. Because if you just use that one single image with just a difference in the number, then no one's going to know what's going to happen in that video, and it might deter people from actually viewing it.
And this is like the benefit of YouTube's automated system, because they do actually show what's going on in the video, even though it may not show the right part that you'd like, or maybe it won't look appealing, but it'll usually be very accurate on what's going on in the video.
Yeah, basically when you upload a video, it pretty much splits the video in 3 pieces, and it says, okay, here's 3 potential thumbnails that you can use. So you can take one of those, or you can upload one that's customized for yourself to use. And people who can do custom thumbnails can either do ones where it's the same thumbnail for each series, or you could do, for example, like what I do with mine, is I take a screenshot of a particular moment in the actual video itself, the raw video itself, and I make that the thumbnail.
Mm-hmm.
So like for example, in my reaction to the Prelude to Madness video that I did, that's the SFM with Trixie and Sunset Shimmer. For that particular video, the suggestions that they gave me, none of them had both characters in it. So I actually went back into the video and chose a scene that had both characters interacting with each other, and I made that the thumbnail. So that way it shows that at least the two main characters who are going to be involved.
Yeah. So it gives you a better idea of what Prelude to Madness is like.
Mm-hmm. Trying to find out that I viewed Prelude to Madness series out of order. Oops!
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, a very important thing that I didn't list here really quick, but I want to bring up is that usually there's a timestamp in the right bottom corner. So if you have important information in the thumbnail, like a number or something like that, you want to avoid using the right bottom corner because it can often hide that information.
Yeah.
That's pretty helpful.
Yeah. Try to either put it in the upper right or somewhere on the left if you're going to do that kind of thing, or do it a different way entirely.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna put any important information on the bottom right, at least make
it
actually
huge.
just don't make it either huge or put it somewhere that's not in the bottom right.
Mm-hmm.
That might be more preferable.
Yep. Speaking of our next section of the video, text. Very, very used. I personally think it's actually quite overused, but it can be very useful or it can be extremely... there's a word I'm looking for, but I forgot about it.
Distracting?
Not distracting. Basically the opposite of useful, like useless. We'll go with useless.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I went there. But sometimes, text, unless it's big, unless it takes up a lot of space, it often isn't going to be seeable, especially if you have like lots of text. If you put down like a big header and then have some small text inside, showing off something else or whatever, then usually people aren't going to be able to read that text because, once again, they make the video so small you can hardly tell.
Yeah, an example of a video thumbnail that actually has just like pure text on it is a redirect that I did way back when on my old Pony Thread Simulator videos. I had to redirect those to Dailymotion because copyright strike, or not copyright, but it got flagged actually. But so I had to put those on DM and I had to put a redirect there, and I made that the thumbnail. But to make sure that it was visible, I made sure that the text was nice and large, so that way when they see the thumbnail there, they can at least read the text that's on there saying, hey, this is going on Dailymotion, so check out the description and you can go to it.
I gotta get my glasses out. That's way too small.
Oh, whippersnappers in your damn 2020 vision.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you're going to use text in the video, make sure that it's nice and easily to read. And please, for the love of God, don't pick colors that don't flow together. Using yellow text on a white background, or vice versa. Don't do that. Yeah. Pick a light and a dark color and combine those.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful to also use like outlines in your text as well. Like white text and black outlines are probably the most common format when it comes to that because you can read it against anything.
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's helpful for stuff like when Photoshop or if you have GIMP or something like that comes in. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to talk about when it came to text?
No, that's pretty much it. I don't normally...
I guess the only other thing would be sometimes a lot of people use text in like a specific font or color or whatever. And if you have a specific style for your text, then people can notice, oh, that's a video from so-and-so, if they see it in the, the search results and something like that. It's much more noticeable if you're consistent with that type of stuff. And I've seen it time and time again. People that I recognize, just like scrolling through my subscriptions and stuff like that. Oh, this guy uploaded a video because he's the only one that uses that font.
Right. So like that makes me remind me of something else. Is that if you're going to use text as a thumbnail, the color choice that you use for the words, make sure that it does that how you do it and stuff. It all stands out, but make sure that what you use isn't going to be an eyesore for the person who's going to have to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, make it both functional and aesthetic.
Mm-hmm. That's about the right way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So
next up on the list.
Yeah, this is pretty brief. We're gonna talk about how Content ID has to do with the thumbnail.
Yeah, so Content ID, believe it or not, for a lot of videos, actually does affect the thumbnail. And this can go either whether or not you monetize your videos or you choose to not do so. Because if a video is uploaded, anybody who wants to do a copyright claim or a third-party claim, one of the things that they can hit you with is just the thumbnail in general. And if you don't want that, make sure you don't use something that can do that. Like, especially like if you're doing like a reaction video or something, it's a lot easier to just, use your... I don't want to say like it's a guaranteed result, but like if you have your face in there, in that thumbnail, it's a little bit easier to deal with than just a straight picture of Rainbow Dash on there covering the entire screen. Like if that's your entire thumbnail, it's just full face Rainbow Dash. I'm pretty sure that's not going to take long before somebody, catches on to that.
That literally described the video that got blocked worldwide for me.
Well, Mr. Pot is like, you could use that advice a while ago. You should have came to me earlier.
But it was a really appealing looking thumbnail, though. Like, I took that screenshot specifically, and it did get in a nice amount of views. I thought it was very aesthetically appealing, functionally appealing, but apparently it wasn't very copyright appealing. Well, actually, technically it is very copyright appealing because I'm appealing the copyright claim. It's a nice choice of words I used there.
It's a nice play on words, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much why he said that it was such a short topic on Content ID. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just that thumbnails do play a part in the ID system, so you need to be wary as to what to do it is on there.
It's definitely something to consider along with the tags, but I think that might be another discussion for a different video.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah. If we're all set with that, we'll go on to the next section. Editing software. Whether you use Photoshop, GIMP, Paint.net, there's a lot of great assets. Heck, even if you want to use Microsoft Paint, why would you want to use Microsoft Paint?
If you want to be a rebel and prove that Paint can be really useful, which actually I have seen some pretty good stuff from Paint, but I'm pretty sure it just takes a lot longer to do than it would in somewhere else.
I think it's best just to use MS Paint, ironically.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's super simple and stuff.
Yeah.
But
if you
want something that's free and has a decent amount of options, GIMP is definitely a good option to check out.
GIMP is very excellent. I mean, Photoshop is top tier, but GIMP is also up there for sure.
Yeah, I know. Like, I actually know quite a few artists across some various series, and they actually use GIMP like all the time. Like, they're always on there, and every time I'm in the group chat with them, people are like trading advice with each other on what it is that they can do in order to improve their stuff with GIMP, and it's actually pretty neat to see the stuff that they can actually make with it.
Yeah.
So it's I'll say this. I'm definitely saying this. Compared to Paint, GIMP is a little bit harder to start with, but from what I've seen, if you actually devote some time into GIMP, you can actually make some really good stuff.
Yeah, GIMP has a lot of similar tools to Photoshop, though I haven't actually been experienced with GIMP myself, so I can't particularly say that, but I do know a lot of useful tools in Photoshop as well, and I'm probably going to be displaying a recording of me making one of my custom thumbnails in Photoshop, so that way you can get an idea of like the stuff that I have to go through and stuff, and just visual stuff.
The pain that piles like a burdens for your entertainment.
It's actually not too bad. It's pretty easy, but I've had a lot of experience doing it, mostly because of taking a Photoshop class in college.
The pain that piles like her takes for making your videos. You say that it's not painful, but I'm still saying it is.
Yeah, there's a lot of useful tools that you'd want to learn in Photoshop, especially with like the polygonal lasso tool, because that's essentially like tracing something. You essentially just trace out an image, whether it's from a photo or a screenshot or whatever, and then you can use just that part. What is it?
I said, how accurate is it though?
It's fairly accurate. It depends on like the size of your feather, which would mean like the amount of blur on the outside. If you use more blur on the outside, sometimes it's necessary to use a certain amount of blur because you don't want it to look too sharp. This is like getting really specific, probably too specific for thumbnails, but just Photoshop in general. You want to use a specific amount of feather or blur for the outside to match the rest of the background.
Right. Now, we're now just clarifying for anyone wondering, we're not professionals in any way regarding making thumbnails or anything.
Might be future professionals though.
Well, inflate your ego more. We're not professionals when it comes to actually drawing or making pictures, with like GIMP or anything like that, but we are at least familiar with the program itself and what it is capable of doing. Mm-hmm. And I can attest to this because, as I've said, I know multiple people and I've seen them work in GIMP and what they can make. So it's a nice tool and it's free. So if you want to try and make your stuff and you think you can, why not try it?
Also, with editing software, your best assets are oftentimes available on Google Images. You might be required to credit an artist or something like that, but I have found so many My Little Pony vectors available through Google Images, Derpy DeviantArt, and Tumblr, and they're all very useful for thumbnails. I used one in my most recent thumbnail. Well, actually, I didn't, but I used a screenshot. Never mind, I take that back, but I've used it before. No, actually, I have. Never mind. God. Yeah, I did it with a horse mask. The horse mask, I grabbed a transparent background vector thing, and you want to specifically use vectors as well, which aren't pixelated, which means that you can make them larger sizes and stuff like that. Vectors are made in Adobe Illustrator and Inkscape, and there might be a few other editing softwares for that, but if you can find vectors, then you can make it huge, even if it was originally a smaller image.
Vectors can also be used in Flash, but that's mainly just for animation in general, although you can still make still images and stuff with those.
Yeah. It's definitely good to avoid pixelated images and avoid JPEGs.
Because, it's funny you mentioned that because like about 2 minutes before we started doing this, I saw you like a video about JPEGs.
Yeah, it was that from Phyrexis
King of the Hill thing.
Yeah. Oh man, I love Phyrexis, and yeah, that video he made was absolutely beautiful. Actually, multiple people worked on that. So, yeah.
But one quick thing regarding the whole vector thing is, vectors, using a vector as a potential thumbnail, that's not entirely bad, but there is a small risk in doing that, and it's the fact that some people, unfortunately, when they go to DeviantArt and other places, when they make the vectors and stuff, they actually are still using the official stuff, but they're just not crediting them. Mm-hmm. So
that's a possibility.
So
as well.
Yeah, you need to be a little bit careful when you're checking that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
If you can actually get definite proof that it's not directly taken from the show and it's actually, maybe just a little bit different, then go ahead and do that. But if it's just a straight copy paste from the show, then you're kind of taking a risk by using that as a thumbnail.
Another thing I don't pay attention about.
See, this is a learning experience for you too.
Yeah, it's a learning experience, but my ignorance might not learn from it. We'll see. Maybe in the future maybe in the future I'll be much more considerable of it.
We'll see. We'll see how many third-party claims and copyright strikes it takes for you to learn.
Hmm. Also, another very important tool in Photoshop, I'm not sure if it's usable in GIMP or whatever, is the clone stamp. In which case, you can essentially copy a small part of an image and paste it over and over again to get the same texture available in a specific part of an image. Like, for example, if you wanted to remove a bald spot from someone's hair, you would click on the clone stamp and then you would press it over and over and over on the bald spot to get rid of the bald spot. Yeah, it's very useful, and I used it in my thumbnail, so that way I could extend the horse mask's neck, so that way it makes it all the way to the bottom of the image.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very useful. One of my favorite tools, and pretty easy to use once you get the hang of it. Though it can take a while to use it.
It's a learning experience.
Definitely. Okay, I think that's all that I really need to talk about with Photoshop editing software and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much about covers it.
Yeah, and we did talk about this a little bit, but would you like to emphasize a little bit more on screenshots and what makes an effective screenshot?
As I had mentioned before, regarding when we were talking about the accuracy of your thumbnails, is that a potential option for a thumbnail is a straight screenshot of the potential video that you're using, which, as I mentioned before, is what I do for pretty much actually about every video that I upload. And the best thing about that is that you can choose the thumbnail yourself still, and you don't have to worry about making your own custom thing in GIMP or anything if you're not able to do so in art. My hand is raised because I have no artistic talent. So that's why I do this for my videos on there. So as I said, whenever I do a reaction for a video, for example, and I go into editing it, I always take in consideration the video that I looked at or that I reacted to, and then when I'm uploading it, or while the video is uploading, I go and open the video again on a separate page, and I go and replay the video, and I find a specific point in time that I would pause the video at, and I would use a program in order to take a screenshot of the picture, save it as a file, and make that the custom image. There's a bunch of different free screen capture things that can capture your screen. You can use that as a thumbnail. The one I use is actually called Pocket. Technically it's actually supposed to be pronounced Pocket, but some people say Pocket for whatever reason. It's P-O-K-I-T, and I like that one just simply because it's really easy to activate on the fly. Like after you have it installed, you just hit Alt-3, and then it freezes your entire screen, and then you can go ahead and just click and drag where you want to take the picture at. And that's pretty much how I make all the thumbnails. And you can either save it online or you can save it straight to your hard drive. It's very convenient.
Yeah. For me in Sony Vegas, all I have to do is, well, the first thing you want to do when previewing your image is make sure that it's at the best quality and not like at an auto quality, because it might actually be showing, say that you're in an animation. If you don't use the best quality, then sometimes it won't show that it's actually stuck in between images where they might overlap or something like that. You want to avoid that for all of your thumbnails, obviously. And if you take a screenshot of it and it shows up as something else, that's the reason why. You got to make sure that it's at essentially best and full. Those are the settings for Vegas, and if you use other video editors, it'll probably use something else. So yeah, avoid those more blurry images by using the highest preview settings. And there is a screenshot button below the preview for Sony Vegas, and that's extremely helpful when taking screenshots for thumbnails.
Now, just to clarify, is that you don't exactly need Sony Vegas in order to make a thumbnail or anything.
No, I'm just saying, like,
method. I'm just clarifying.
If you use it as your primary video editing software, then it's the tool that you can use, and it's what I've been using if I use a screenshot.
Yep.
Yeah. But I digress.
I think that's about covers everything regarding the thumbnails.
If you do want to get a lot of views in your thumbnails, you can just, I don't know, grab a picture of boobs and put it there.
Yes, but if you do so, then you're dealing with the YouTube's issue with misleading thumbnails, and the video can get removed entirely.
Yeah. But you can get lots of views. You also probably will get lots of dislikes. But
yeah, but here's the thing: the views go away if the video gets deleted. When you lose the video, you lose all the views and likes and dislikes you ever received from it.
Well, then obviously you need to upload the video with the misleading thumbnail and then change it before they catch you.
Do you really want to take that chance? And besides, if you're rapidly gaining views, how would you be able to convince yourself when is the perfect time to change the thumbnail without getting in trouble?
That's essentially like
you're taking a
gambling.
gamble.
Yeah, it's gambling. Yeah, I just felt like making that comment because recently Jax Films, a popular YouTuber, made a video called "Boobs in the Thumbnail," and it was basically one of those parody advertisement things.
Right.
And it was just like, you want a lot of views? Boobs in the thumbnail.
You know what? I think I did see something like that. It wasn't from him. It was from somebody else, but they actually did do that. It was like, what you need in a thumbnail to get a lot of views: boobs, naked chicks, beer, and something else. I can't remember what else he said.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think he said like funny looking pets or something like that.
The funny thing is that people often do put boobs in their thumbnail.
Well, yeah, because they're just, I hate to say it, but they are being a little bit desperate for the attention.
Yep. It's okay. It's okay to be a little desperate sometimes.
But it all comes down to, is that extra 100, or depending on how big your channel is those extra so-and-so views actually worth a potential removal of the video and strike?
Well, sometimes it might not actually be.
Sometimes they just take the video down.
Sometimes it might actually be accurate.
Well, like I said,
I mean, most of the time it isn't, but sometimes it can be, depending on what the topic. Like, I don't know, trolled by hot girl in Call of Duty.
Okay.
You know, that's kind of accurate.
Okay.
Just something like that.
All right. Well, here's an example here, because for the sake of things, we're pretty much MLP related channels, so I can use this as an example.
Mm-hmm.
If you uploaded a video that said season 5 sneak peek or whatever, and you freaking did that, like,
with a Rickroll.
Well, yeah, it's like, okay, what the hell? I mean, I get it. And years back, and holy crap, this is still old as hell. Years back, the Rickroll thing was everywhere. Everywhere. I'm talking like back in 2010, 2009. This stuff was everywhere. Notice how that fad kind of died down a little bit? Yeah, there's a reason for that. There are still a couple of them here and now, but...
Yeah, Flying Shark actually uploaded a Rickroll at the end of one of his videos. Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty good. That was for his makeup tutorial.
Ugh. I think I remember reading a comment about that on a video saying, hey, you should go and do one of these. I'm like, why?
You need to do a makeup tutorial for 3,000 subscribers.
That's a horrible suggestion.
But it'll probably get you lots of views.
And a lot of lack of manly points.
Yeah, well, we already lost a lot of manly points.
He lost a lot more by doing that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The fact that we're bronies means that we're already secure enough in our masculinity.
I'm secure at where I am, but I don't
Yeah.
want to go any. I don't want to actually go down with it.
But if you want to be even more
Fuck the
secure in your
people who say that
masculinity,
this is not manly.
if you want to be even more secure in your masculinity, you need to do a makeup tutorial.
No, screw the people who say that you're not a man if you watch MLB. Seriously, I dare you to say that to people like the military bronies when they're in your face.
I dare you to say that you're not manly if you wear makeup.
I'll say it to you if I ever met you face to face. If you wore makeup on there and you walked up to me, I would probably say something.
Mm-hmm.
Would I say the flying shark? Probably, but I don't know how the hell I would recognize him. And how the hell would I even meet him?
I don't know.
Anyways, we're rambling.
Yeah, we definitely are rambling.
And this part should definitely get cut out.
It totally won't.
Damn you, because this makes no sense. It's not relevant.
Yeah.
It's not like the video's long enough already.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, actually, we're pretty good for time. I expected it to be longer.
You expected
the rambling
it to be longer
just
than 30 minutes?
the rambling just yeah, I expected it to be like almost an hour.
Well, technically, the call has been an hour.
Yeah, but the recording has been going on for 37 minutes, so we're pretty good.
Well, there you go, people. There you go. We had about 23 minutes of prep.
Yep. So, for all of you guys, make sure to leave suggestions for our next video, and also feel free to leave suggestions for the title of this podcast thing.
Yeah, we didn't really think too much on what to label the series, and to be honest, I didn't personally think of anything regarding this.
Yeah, I didn't
like
even
we were
try.
literally we were just talking about it, and he was just like, "Let's try it,"
Yep.
and here we are.
We did it, and yeah, hopefully.
And there's either going to be a little bit of likes for it, or it's going to tank.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it's gonna be great. This is beautiful. I love it already.
You love it already. I don't know
Yeah.
if you would actually sit back and
And
listen
who
to all
knows? Like, maybe for future videos, we'll get a guest to help us out and stuff like that.
this. A guest? Or
Yep.
a victim? Yes. You okay? Pontus Liker has fled.
Yeah, I tried to make it as loud as possible so that way you could hear
Your
me
door
leaving.
squeaks just as loud as my old bedroom door. It's like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have the loudest door in the house.
in your house, yeah, but Jesus Christ, my old door, it's actually attached to a different door now, but like it's still squeaky. So you open it, it goes.
Yep. More rambling.
Yes,
This is
we're totally
beautiful.
not professional.
Yeah, it's okay. We don't want to be professional because casual channels tend to
That's-
do better anyway.
That should be like that should be like a pop-up slogan. Pontus Liker and Brony Monster, totally not professional. Ding.
Yeah. So yeah, just one more rundown. Suggest topics, suggest titles, and if you want to be a guest, let us know what you are expertised in if we don't know already. Okay. I think that's enough.
You think?
Any dismissal words?
And it just, nah.
Nah.